What's going on, everybody? We have the meta snapshot for patch 13.15. This is going to be the week 2 update, so I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to tell you guys my strategy of how to play the patch, along with everything else. We'll get into that at the end, but right now, let's go over all the top comps right now. So no surprise to anyone, Noxus Reroll and Samira going to stay in the S tier for now. Sorcerers, pretty solid. Gunners, very good as well. I think Gunners is probably like my most played comp right now. And then in the A tier, we have Void Kaisa, Kayle Reroll, Deadeye, Shadow Owl's Karma, Ravenous Warwick, Jinx Reroll, Rek'sai Reroll, Akshan Reroll, Built Different Challengers, Tristana, Strategist Azir, Garen Reroll, and then Ionia, Yasuo. So these are kind of like in order. So they are going from like S plus to S minus, A plus to A minus. If you want more info on that, check out the Patreon or OnlyFans if you want like the exact grading or whatever. But in the B tier, we have Riftwalker, Kassadin, Teemo, Ekko, Zed, Rogue, Demacia, Double Trouble, Taliyah. And then C tier, like, just don't play these. But let's get into how to play the comps. And then at the end, I will go over my strategy overall for the patch. So in the S tier right now, we have Noxus Reroll. No surprise there, really. Go Poro or Ornn. Those are going to be great for that. But Darius is just going to be the main carry out here. He's just going to do what he normally does. Except now, you stabilize so hard with Samira 2-star. You don't even need to itemize her perfectly. A lot of people, when you do Samira Reroll, you do a blue buff start. But you don't even need that to kind of win streak with her. You could just play her, level up, and just go for like a lot of kills early on. If a level 4 team of Samira 2-star can win streak, a level 5 team with Samira 2-star can also win streak. So that's the difference between Noxus Reroll and the Samira Reroll. It's like the early game is so much stronger that it's easier to play later on when you go for Darius and Katarina instead. But both versions work. It's all good. You add in Ekko and Warwick to get Juggernaut plus Challenger and Rogue and Zon. You run Ekko and Warwick to get Challenger, Juggernaut, Rogue, and Zon to add on to your team. And then late game, Sion's going to be a beefy guy. He's just going to disrupt a lot of people in the backline. So again, like your early game is going to be like Swain, Samira. That's going to be like your bread and butter. And then later on, Darius, Katarina, 3-cost reroll, same as before, nothing changed there. Next build up we have is Sorcerers. So Sorcerers, like Ahri's still OP. If you can make it to Ahri, you can run like 8 Sorcerer, 6 Sorcerer, 4 Sorcerer, 2 Sorcerer. It does not matter. Just find a way to get to Ahri. The easiest way to do that is going to be through like Sorcerers, obviously, because you'll have the items built for her. You'll have some synergies laid out for her and probably some augments that help her out as well. Another good thing about this comp is that not too many people are going AP, so items are a little easier to get in my opinion, because everyone's going to be going for all the attack damage items right now. Next build up we have is Gunners. So Gunners, my most played right now. You just play 3 Freljord, 2 Gunner, and then Zons. You could do like 2 or 4 Zon, does not matter. It depends if the Zon mod is good. If it's good, go for 4. If it's not good, stay at 2. But I typically put the first Zon augment onto Zeri. That's going to be typically an offensive one. And then the second one, no matter what, I put it on Urgot. I don't care if it's a tank one. I don't care like what its birthday is or whatever. It's going to go on Urgot. So it's going to go on Urgot because Urgot is completely busted. So Urgot, you just throw like Bloodthirster plus Titans plus any third item. It literally doesn't matter. Zeri likes the Rage Blade plus Death Blade, and the third item doesn't matter. Sometimes you want a healing item. Sometimes you get it from an augment. Sometimes you don't even need healing. 6 Zon is also OP. So if you can ever do 6 Zon, definitely go for that if you get like a +1 Zon or whatever. Piltover starts for Gunners in the early game, also extremely good because you can just build up a huge economy and then just dominate everyone with a T-Hex later. There's so many different ways to play Gunners. We'll get more into it at the end of the video. But next up we have is Samira Cassiopeia Reroll. Same build as before. Swain's going to be main tank. Samira blue buff plus 2 damage items. So I prefer Infinity Edge, and then third item, it could be like a Giant Slayer, Death Blade, Guard Breaker, literally again, anything. But blue buff by far mandatory, and then IE, my definite preferred second item, but I wouldn't grief my game to get it, if that makes sense. Cassiopeia, blue buff plus any AP, Swain, any tank items, and later on you could itemize Darius and Katarina as well, because they will steamroll everything and be like your super late game, or Sion. You got a couple options there, but 1-cost reroll for this, so do not level up during stage 2, and then roll to 30 gold at stage 3-1 at level 4, because again, you want to improve your odds of getting everything. And then that's pretty much all you need to do. Like slow rolled back down to 50 at level 5 after you hit it naturally on stage 3-2 until you hit Samira 3, and then all in on 4-1 in most cases. Next build up we have is the A tier Void Kaisa. Still very solid comp. You could combine it with Rek'Sai Reroll with a Kaisa carry. You could just do Kaisa plus Sejuani. Sejuani is a little contested right now, but you really only want to play Void if you have a +1 Void. There's like, it's okay without it, but I wouldn't do it unless I got all the units for free, because 8 Void is really where the power is at, in my opinion. So yeah, that's something you could kind of consider with this comp. But overall, it's just standard leveling pattern. Kaisa carry, you could Rek'Sai secondary carry or Bel'Veth secondary carry. Does not matter, depends what you're hitting that game. Next up, we have Kayle Reroll. Only play this if it is a high econ game. So if it is something like Jace's Workshop, you know, Jace's Workshop gives all prismatic augments. And yeah, that's a game you could consider going for Kayle Reroll, because you want to both reroll for Kayle 3-star as a 1 cost, and you also want to go up and up and up all the way to level 9. The comp's like semi-stable at level 8, but level 9 is obviously where you can win a lot of games. So it's a really risky comp, but make sure it's a map that gives a lot of economy. So let's look at a couple of them right now. Scuttle Puddle is definitely one of them. Yuumi Zoom Zone can be done too. Jace's Workshop. You could do University if you get like a super good econ augment at the start, but Jace's Workshop is much better. Thresh's Sanctum, it could be done there, not the best. Shifting Sands, you could maybe do this, but it's not the best. Targon Prime, that one could be used. That's the one where you, I think it's like when you get below 40 health, you get a bonus loot. The Hall of the Nine, that one could be used too. And Ecliptic Vaults, maybe that one could be used too. But you definitely want like Scuttle Puddle or Jace's Workshop. Those are going to be the 2 best for this. But yeah, the build is pretty simple. It's just Kayle, double Rage Blade plus third item. Third item, it could be either a Gunblade, it could be a Titan's Resolve, it could be a Hand of Justice, it could be an RFC. Literally anything with double Rage Blade is going to work. And then Poppy, just 2 tank items plus the Radiant item that you get from Demacia. And then that's it. Like level 9, throw in anything. You could throw in Heimerdinger, you could throw in a Scion, you could throw in like whatever your heart desires at that time. But just run Slayers, because Slayers are going to buff up your team a lot. Obviously, like Aatrox is going to be good for like the 5th Slayer or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. You just need Poppy 3-star, Kayle 3-star, and then hit level 9, and also play Yordles, because Yordles give Poppy a 4-star bonus. So let's go back and move on to the next comp. Oh yeah, one other thing is that with the econ augments, like normally I say only take 1 econ augment, but with Kayle you could take 2, maybe even 3 of them. Deadeye is going to be the next build. 4 Deadeye, 3 Freljord, that's going to be like your bread and butter. Next comp is Deadeye. Deadeye's still pretty solid. The basis of the comp is going to be 4 Deadeye and 3 Freljord. You could also do 2 Deadeye. That one works too. If we go into the builder, the only important units are Aphelios, Urgot, all the Freljord units, that's going to be Lissandra, Sejuani, and Ashe. And then since you're running 3 Deadeye, you might as well just run the 4th one, which is going to be Akshan. But if you don't hit Urgot, you could run other stuff instead and also drop Akshan after that. You could run a bunch of more tanks, maybe like a Scion, maybe like a Shen, maybe even a Taric in case you don't hit some of this stuff. So if you don't have like Urgot 2-star or no items for him, your board could look something like this. There are a lot of different variations to the comp. It's really just like 3 Freljord. Make sure you get Rage Blade on Aphelios. It's pretty much required. And then like ideally also a Death Blade. And then third item, it could be anything. But some setup like this, it's going to be pretty fine. Not too much else to say there. You also do have the option to go for Akshan Reroll when you play this. It's not that great, but if you get it for free, you get it for free. So that's another thing to kind of keep in mind. Next build up we have is Shadow Owl. Shadow Owl is just going to be Kalista Reroll with Gwen carry as well. So Gwen secondary, and then Aatrox as your late game. You really only want to play this if you get the Shadow Owl emblem. That one makes your team comp like super strong, because you get to put it on Yasuo or Kaisa and they really pop off. And then you have like another secondary carry or like tertiary carry. So you could always do that and then like not need to 3-cost reroll, for example. So instead of going for 3-star Kalista, you could go for like Kaisa, play the Kalista still, but just as 2-star, and then itemize Gwen and Kaisa instead with the Shadow Owl spat on Kaisa, and then that team generally should do like pretty decently. Next build up we have is Karma Reroll. So Karma Reroll, this one's just going to be triple damage item Karma, or like 2 damage, 1 healing item Karma, because she gets all the mana from Invoker. And then she just casts a lot, does the triple cast. You need a strong front line for this to work. So having a 3-star Taric with your 3-star Karma really kind of helps this team kind of shine. You could even 3-star Lissandra if you want, because you just need like some general tanks. And because you're slow rolling at level 7, hitting 3-cost Taric sometimes isn't that hard. Especially now, he's not like as played as he was before. He's still a very good unit. It's just the comps that he fits in kind of aren't played as much anymore. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. Late game, you're going to be doing an Ahri build, just like throw all your items on Ahri after that, and then Ahri's just Ahri, and then with 6 Invoker, she just cast a lot, and like that's exactly what she needs. So you could even do like triple damage item Ahri. You don't even need the blue buff sometimes, though you still want it. It's just not 100% required. Next build up we have is Ravenous Hunter Warwick. This build is pretty solid. You just need to make sure that you hit the Warwick, so do everything in your power to hit the Warwick 3-star. So that means selling pretty much every other unit that you don't absolutely need in order to make interest in the early game, because if you don't have Warwick 3, there's no point in playing Ravenous Hunter Warwick. So again, whenever you're playing this, always prioritize that. I see people, they take this and they use Warwick 2-star to try to like get them to like level 8, and I even see this in like Diamond, and I'm just like, you should know when you're at that rating that like you should only go for Warwick 3-star. Pretty much nothing else will kind of work. So just stay level 6 the entire game if you have to. If you don't hit, unlucky. And if you do hit, hopefully you can top 4 with it. But 2-cost reroll pattern there. You can click on these links here on my website, bunnymuffins.lol/meta, in case you kind of want to reference later on or want like more details or whatnot. Next up we have is Jinx Reroll. Jinx Reroll is the 4-gunner 4-zon 3 Piltover. This build is really strong. You could primary carry Jinx, and then sometimes you hit a Zeri 2-star, you could itemize her as well. And she's going to do just fine because this is pretty much the same build as she normally does. The only difference is you're doing Vi main tank instead of having a Sejuani. But Vi, super tanky if you get her 3-star. It's a big if though, but if you're doing 2-cost reroll, Jinx 3 plus Vi 3, very, very powerful. If you can do the Piltover stuff, definitely do it, but it's definitely not mandatory. Sometimes you just play it just because you use all the units anyway, so don't like sweat too much about the Piltover unless you get it at the very start of the game. Next up we have is Rek'sai Reroll. Rek'sai Reroll, gonna be pretty decent with 6 Bruiser. Don't do Void with Rek'sai Reroll. He's much better in 6 Bruiser. And Titan's BT plus a 3rd item is going to be the general build for Rek'Sai. It could be an Infinity Edge, a Giant Slayer, any sort of damage item will work as a 3rd item. Sejuani main tank, Scion, the late game, and then you could also run Heimerdinger. Burn on Heimerdinger is really nice because your team is so tanky, and then the burn just like gets a lot of burn damage off. I don't really know how to say like the burn damage just burns people. That's really the only way to kind of do it. Next build up we have is Akshan Reroll. This is another attack damage kind of option that you have here. And this one's going to be 3 Freljord, 2 Deadeye. And then you also run the Shurima so that Akshan gets like a small buff there. So Sejuani, she's going to be everyone's main tank. So a lot of games are decided on whether you get Sejuani or not. However, in this build, you have the option of Nasus and Jarvan as other tank options. So that's a little better. Even though Sejuani is the best one, getting like a Jarvan 2-star definitely is a very close second. Items for Akshan, definitely Deathblade, and then the other 2, they kind of don't matter. We have like an item list down here. So it could be like Runons, IE, Giant Slayer, Guardbreaker, Hand of Justice. All of those will definitely work. You could also reroll for Lissandra 3-star. Just put AP items on her, doesn't really matter. And you're kind of just picking her up as a bonus because you reroll at level 7 for Akshan 3-star. It's always nice to just like pick up multiple units so you don't like waste your gold or like use your gold more efficiently. There's a gameplay here on a bunch of these comps, so definitely check those out if you have time. Next build up we have is Build Different. So this one you could use Zeri, Aphelios, or Kaisa carry. Any of them are good. I should honestly put more items on these people because it really just depends on the patch which one is good. But main tank's going to be like Shen, Sejuani, and Jarvan. Any of those work, but yeah. Just build a lot of attack speed items because all 3 of these in the back use them. And then like the generic damage items obviously work as well. So if you have like a Hand of Justice or like a Gunblade, Guardbreaker, Giant Slayer, plus like a Rage Blade, pretty much that build fits on all 3 of these. But you could do like only AD items or only AP items. It just kind of limits your options a little. But it really depends on what's happening in your game. And sometimes you don't have a choice in what items you can build. So that's another thing to think about as well. But yeah, probably like Zeri is going to be the best on this patch. Maybe Aphelios. All 3 of them are good. It really just depends on who you hit 2-star. And then because you don't need to hit a specific unit to 2-star, you could hit any of them. You could kind of use your extra gold to level up or roll for like 3-star 4 cost, which definitely does happen in a Build Different team. Next up we have is Challengers. So Challengers, this one is going to be a little bit weaker than it was before, but it's still solid, still playable. If you get like a defensive dash or you get like a +1 Challenger, it makes it even better because you could play Bel'Veth, put the Challenger spat on Bel'Veth or even Aatrox, and those teams generally do semi-decently well, but it definitely gets outshined by the other A and S tier comps. Next one up we have is Tristana Reroll. I really like this comp. I think it's just easy and fun to play. So if you ever start the game with like 2-star Tristana, 2-star Poppy, definitely try to go for this because yeah, it's just going to be a solid comp. Next up is Strategist Azir and Lux. This comp isn't really that popular now. Azir is like not that great, but if you get him for free, I see people win with him all the time because you're allowed to like power level after you hit him for free. So when you're doing your roll down, let's say you built a Rage Blade earlier, you're going Zeri, you have some generic tank items, and then you just hit a 2-star Azir and you didn't build stuff like Deathblade, for example, definitely try Azir in a lot of those cases. It's like going to be pretty solid because you could again level up later on, and you could always pivot back into Zeri or Aphelios after that as well. But yeah, standard leveling for that. Garen Reroll, underrated build as per usual, but you need very specific circumstances to make this work. Maybe this should be in the B tier, but I've seen some people in China play it, and they do like decently, but no one in North America plays it or Europe that I've seen that much. Mainly like I've seen some in China. Obviously it's not like that much. It's not like taking over the meta or anything, but I think they try more different things. Yasuo Ionia, this is going to be the 6 Ionia 4 Challenger version. It's just going to be your classic Kaisa Yasuo until you hit Ahri, and then any Ahri comp's going to be good in the late game. So yeah, she's just going to keep being like the best damage legendary. So just make sure you have a blue buff for her later on. You could use like Karma as the item holder for that. But yeah, we could click into this actually. So before you get her, you could have all your items on Karma instead. So you could just like blue buff Karma, maybe like JG Karma, whatever, like Giant Slayer. And then as soon as you get the Ahri, then you could just sell her, put Ahri in. Maybe you get Karma back again, throw it in for Invokers. It's not that much mana, but it's better than nothing, right? And then throw all your like Karma items onto your Ahri. It's something that could be done. You could even sell Kaisa to put the items on Ahri. All of this works. It depends on how many items you have in that game. There are so many different item holders in the Ionia comp, so you definitely want to play champions, or sorry, legends that give you a lot of items. So probably something like Ornn, something like Ezreal would kind of be the best options here. Next comp up we have is the Riftwalker build. Riftwalker, I have no idea when it works and when it doesn't. I go some games, I hit Kassadin really early, and then I lose for some reason. But then I play other games, I hit Kassadin late, and I win for some reason. And the augments aren't anything like super crazy. Both my games and people I watch, Kassadin either like is the best unit ever or the worst unit ever. But I think on average, he probably averages around like maybe like a 4.5 or something like that. Nothing too crazy. Obviously there aren't actual stats on this because like it's semi-hidden, but yeah, I think he's just like perfectly average. Nothing great, nothing horrible. So if you get good items for him at the start of the game and you see this augment, yeah, sure, go for it. Teemo Reroll, there are better things to go for, but a lot of people, Teemo's just like a fan favorite for some reason, so you could definitely try this out if you want. This is like a sample build with Multicaster, Strategist, and obviously Yordle to get Teemo 4-star, but yeah, there are better things to go for. Ekko Reroll, kind of the same thing. Zed Reroll, yeah, Zed, even 2-star Zed, I don't even itemize him now, but 3-star Zed, definitely below average. Probably wouldn't play this unless I get it for free. Rogue Reroll, oh, I know the times to play Zed Reroll. There's the Bard Augment, which gives you a 2-cost unit every time you level up. If you get a Zed copy of that, then yeah, go for this. But that's the only time I'd go for that or the Rogue Reroll. Next build up we have is Demacia. Yeah, probably better things to go for. They're probably going to buff Demacia bigly, or they're going to remove Demacia in the next set, because no one's really playing more than 3 Demacia, which to me is a little sad because I feel like at least 5 should be playable, right? Get 1 Radiant item on your main tank, 1 on your primary carry. It's like 2 Radiant items. Yeah, I don't know. Taliyah Double Trouble got nerfed, so yeah, it's not as good anymore. So if you get Double Trouble at the start, I wouldn't just like automatically force this comp. What I'd do instead is if I have great Taliyah items and I get Double Trouble, then maybe I'd go for it, but I wouldn't just hard force it like I did before. C tier, Multicaster Reroll, and Shurima, yeah, don't want any of that. Let's go up and look at how I'm going to play the patch. So actually, let's do the summary first. So again, Noxus going to be the best. All the other S tiers are definitely solid. One's AP, one's AD, depends on what you go for. But then if you get any like really good starts for like almost any of the A tier comps, you could win with them. You just need very specific builds for them. Whereas the stuff in the S tier, you could kind of just force. A lot of people ask me like, what's 1 comp to force to get to XYZ rank? What's 2 comps to force to get to XYZ rank? What's 3 comps to force? Okay, just do the S tier. It's gonna be like this for like the entirety of TFT. I don't know why people keep asking this, and it's like, I'm not saying like don't ask questions or something, but like the answers are there, you know, you don't have to ask it. It's just already exists, you know. But yeah, if you're ever looking for comps to force, just like look at the S tier and like force those comps. They wouldn't be in the S tier otherwise, you know. But let's go into my strategy for the patch. So TLDR strategy, I'm probably going to start doing this every week. It's going to be how I'm going to play the patch. So number 1 is try for Samira reroll plus blue buff into Noxus. So that's going to be my default. So I'm going to buy all the Samiras, buy all the Cassiopeias at the start of the game. And if I get a Samira and blue buff start, I'm going to be just hard forcing it. The other option is going for Piltover. So if I get a Piltover start, then yeah, I'll play Piltover and just perma lose streak there. So if I do not have a Samira opener, that means like less than 3 Samiras on 2-1, maybe no tiers, maybe you're contested by like 5 people, whatever. Then what I'm going to do instead is build all attack damage items and Urgot items and tank items. So Zeri and Aphelios AD items are going to be Rageblade, Deathblade, Gunblade, Runon's Last Whisper, Guardbreaker, Giant Slayer, and others. Urgot's going to be Bloodthirster, Titans, and a 3rd item. It could be literally anything. I don't care what the 3rd item on Urgot is. It's just Bloodthirster, Titans, and then just anything to add more value to him. And then tank items are going to be Protector's Vow, Gargoyle Stoneplate, Sunfire Cape, Warmogs. Those are all going to be pretty solid options. Sometimes it could be Bramble Vest or Dragonclaw depending on your lobby, but these are like the items I'm just going to slam, and I'm just going to force Zeri or Aphelios every game. So yeah. Next up is if you do have Piltover, you want to do a full lose streak, then stabilize into stage 3 or 4, and then go 4 Zon, 4 Gunner, and Zeri with Last Whisper. The 4 Zon, 4 Gunner version Zeri is a little bit different than the Freljord one. So this is what a typical Zeri plus 4 Zon build can kind of look like, but when you do Piltover, all you have to do is remove Lissandra, remove Ashe, and remove Sion, and then add in Vi, you add in Jace, and then since you already have 3 Gunner, you just add in Senna or Tristana. So sometimes instead of Tristana, I play the Sion, but if you have Senna, definitely run the Senna instead, and then you just go 4 Gunner, 4 Zon, 3 Piltover, and this build is like very strong because the T-Hex is going to be like level 20 or whatever, and you're just going to steamroll everyone. And then because you don't have Freljords anymore, you want to have like a Last Whisper on your Zeri. Whoops, did not mean to do that. So just go like Rageblade, Last Whisper, and then just any 3rd damage item. It could be like IE, RFC, Runon's Guardbreaker, Giant Slayer, Deathblade, hell, even like a Edge of Night or something. It really doesn't matter. Just like Rageblade, Last Whisper plus 3rd item, and you're going to be good to go there. I need to change the order of this. 3 should be 2. I'll do that later. But if you have no Piltover or Samira opener, just go Zeri or Aphelios with 3 Freljord plus Sion plus anything, and then you just get plus LP. It's really all there is to it. You'll get like 4th, 3rd, whatever. Like worst case, you get like a 5th or something like that. But pretty much all my games recently is anywhere from like 2nd to 5th. And then whenever I don't do this strategy, I go like 8th or 1st. That's the only thing that is like happening right now. So either just force Samira or like have a Piltover opener and then just force Zeri and Aphelios with 3 Freljord. Literally, you just buy these 5 units every single game, and then whoever you hit first. Did you hit Zeri first? Go Gunners. Did you hit Aphelios first? Go Deadeye. That's all you have to do, and then you will just climb by doing that. And just build BT, Titans, Urgot plus any 3rd item, literally any item. Fuck it, it could be a Shojin if you really want. I really don't care. Just like put 3 items on him, and then for your backline, do Rageblade, Deathblade, and then again any 3rd item. RFC, IE, Guardbreaker, no particular order here, like Gunblade, Giant Slayer. I have this list up here. Why am I naming them? I have all the items here. And then, yeah, that's all you need to do. And then you'll get 2nd to 5th every single game. And if you like have Zeri 1-star, for example, you'll probably go like 5th. But if you have Zeri 2-star, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, all very, very doable. That's literally all you have to do right now. So have fun. Hope to see you all next week or like in my next video. I actually have like this really cool video coming up. It's like the Legend Challenge, in case you guys missed it when I did it on stream. Stream link is somewhere here too. But should be fun. Hopefully, maybe some other people try it as well, and let me know how it goes. But I hope to see you all in those videos. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe. And of course, smash that like button. Each like is an LP I gain before the next video.